Before we start today, I have to tell you about State Farm agent Ryan McDevitt. A lot of our listeners have gone to him for all their insurance needs, and he's been very helpful in getting them the coverage they deserve. There's no games with Ryan. He's just here to help you and make sure you feel safe. So if you have insurance needs and you haven't called him yet, what are you waiting for? Dial up the number, 630-796-2662. That's 630-796-2662. Or find him online at ryanismyagent.com. The link is also in the description of the video. That's ryanismyagent.com. And make sure to mention Sports Talk Chicago. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. I want to start today with this. 1 week ago, on this program, I asked for an answer. Those of you who listen regularly know what I'm about to say. I wanted to know what the Cubs were. I wanted to know who they were as a team. Should they start to rebuild? Was it time to tear it all down? Should they contend? Didn't know. All indications pointed towards a rebuild. Sure, they were getting hot and things got better, but they were a 500 team. We didn't know. So I said, we don't know who this team is. Trade deadline's fast approaching. Something needs to give. There needs to be an answer before the trade deadline. There needs to be clarity so Jen Hoyer and company know what to do when August 1st comes. So we waited. We did the wait-and-see type approach, as I've said many a time on this program. You don't know enough about a team in 10 games. You have to wait 30, 40, 50 to start to get impressions on who they are. That's what concerned me about the Cubs. We were 40 games in, 45 games in, and none of us had a clue. No one had a clue. People said they knew. People thought they knew. No one knew. Fans thought, oh, great team. Critics thought, oh, time to rebuild. And no one really knew what to believe. Ever since I asked for an answer, there's been one. Not a full one, I'll explain why in a moment, but somewhat of an answer. And now a word from our sponsor, True Classic Tees. Are you tired of boxy t-shirts that just won't get the job done? What about ones that feel too big and uncomfortable? I have that problem a lot. Thanks to True Classic Tees, though, those problems are over. See, I'm wearing one right now. Very comfortable, double stitched for endurance, and custom made to fit your dimensions. And get this, a portion of every sale goes towards helping homeless vets get off the streets. So you're helping out our veterans, and you're buying quality material from a great independent company. Listeners of this program get a discount too. Use Jon10, that's Jon10, to get 10% off your next purchase. Go to TrueClassicTees.com, that's TrueClassicTees.com, or find the link in the description of the video. True Classic Tees, top clothing at a good cost. The Cubs this past week went on a 6-game win streak. A 6-game win streak. They stand at 29-23. Second place in the Central. A 43% chance to make the postseason. 2% chance to win the World Series. That doesn't seem like much, but before it was less than 1. About a week ago, it was less than 1 to win the World Series. Now it's 2. Their run differential is positive. Their Pythagorean win-loss, which calculates where they should be because of run differential, is the same as their record. They're right where they're supposed to be. Every game they lost, they deserve to lose. Every game they won, they deserve to win. And it got me thinking, are the Cubs for real? Are the Cubs, dare I say, a real team? Is this 2017? Is this 2016? Should they not rebuild? They've been on a roll. And as they've been on this roll, I've been asking myself those same questions. I'm sure you have too. They have a number of players above 100 when it comes to OPS plus. Contreras, Rizzo, Baez, Duffy, Peterson, Bryant. Their bullpen, lights out. Lights out bullpen. Only one reliever with an ERA above 3. Rex Brothers, 3.31. Winkler, Chapin, Tepera, Kimbrel, all under 3. Kimbrel under 1. Winkler under 1. Starting rotation is, of course, the biggest problem. Trevor Williams is out indefinitely with an appendectomy, but his ERA was 5. Hendricks, Arrieta Davies, all above 4, and Albert Alzolay, the only one who's actually put together a couple of good starts at 3.81. As we said last week, the rotation is going to be the team's biggest problem. We talked about that too. Every year, it's something different for this team. Hitting, can't hit. Bullpen, can't close games. Pitching, can't throw strikes. Can't limit runs. It's something new every year. And that's been the biggest problem and the biggest reason why the Cubs did not repeat as champions. Couldn't repeat. Weren't good enough. What I really like about this team is their rebellious attitude. They know what management wants. It's been said publicly what management wants, and they acknowledged it. But they've also said, we don't care, we're going to fight. No one believes in them, including me. I think this is all a nice story, but it's not going to lead them anywhere. It's going to put the organization back. They don't care. They don't care what I have to say, what Jed Hoyer has to say, what writers in this city have to say. They're just going to play. They're just going to play as a team and do what they can. If they win, they win. If they lose, they lose. And they move on. But they're willing to fight. They're not willing to cave down to a narrative. I like that. They're not willing to accept what everyone said about them and just say, yep, that's us. Sit on their hands and wonder what to do. No, they're actively fighting back. Whether you're a Cubs fan or not, even if you're a Sox fan and you're watching right now, you have to respect that. You have to respect that. Any team, or almost any team, would cower down. Think about it. When you're a team who knows you have to rebuild, you never see them do well, right? Cubs didn't do well in 2013, 2014. Everybody knew the mindset was, we're a rebuilder, so we won't play well. That attitude permeated the fan base, permeated the players, coaches, everybody. So no one demanded excellence, no one expected it, and the result was, well, 90 losses, 100 losses. Here, though, it's different. The expectation was time to rebuild. The reality was, we're not going to listen. We're not bowing down. We're not going to take that attitude into the clubhouse and have it infect all of us. No. It was, we will prove you wrong. You all know me. When I'm wrong, I'll admit it. Right now, if the Cubs keep playing like this, I will admit I was wrong. That said, here's why I'm just a little bit skeptical right now. The Cubs have a brutal June coming up per Bleacher Nation. The Cubs will face just one team under 500. One team under 500. The rest of everybody they face is a quality playoff contender. Quote, I don't think it's unreasonable to suggest that if the Cubs can come out of this month within a game or two of first place in the NL Central, that might be the dividing line on whether they become buyers or sellers in July. That in turn probably requires them going 500 against this rough slate. 500. The Cubs need to go 500 in June. They need to be a few games out of the Central come July after this tough month. If they do, well, I think we'll have our answer for sure. I do. We still don't know today whether truly they're buyers or sellers. They played like buyers, but it's only a week stretch. There have been bad weeks this year. Good ones, too. But using a whole month to judge, better idea. I think that. Way better to use all of June, in which you face real contenders pretty much every game. That will determine who you are as a team. That's a fact. Then we'll finally have a real answer. We'll know who they are. Because as of today, there's optimism, sure, but the question still remains. Who are the Chicago Cubs? Who are they? Are they a bottom feeder? Probably not, but still in the picture. Are they a 500 team? Are they a playoff team? Are they a World Series contender? What will they do come the trade deadline? 5 questions. We don't have the answer. That's the difficult part. That's the part we don't know about. Further quote from the article, quote, the more I look at it, if the Cubs do go 500 in June, I'm thinking they absolutely should bet on themselves as buyers. The Cubs did what they needed to do in May to keep this conversation going. They did. True. They played well enough to earn another month. That's simple. They played well enough to earn one more month. And this might be a month-by-month basis. That's the way it is. That's how it's going to work for this team. When you're going back and forth, when you don't know who you are, and you have management who knows what they want, it's going to be a month-by-month thing. Because the minute they falter, the minute the Cubs actually falter, if that happens, it's over. We know that. It's over. If they falter, if they lose 8 straight, 6 straight, it's going to be over. So they either have to keep winning or at least play 500 baseball, or there will be changes. And all of your favorite players will go. For their future, I still believe that's the best course of action. But performance-wise, this year, you're handcuffed. because they performed like they deserve to stay, and they deserve to play hard and win. Surprising, I know. I don't believe in their starting pitching. You shouldn't either. That's a fact. And if the Cubs do become buyers, I would hope that'd be their number one area of concern. I think it would be. And if they address that, who knows what this team could do. I'm not saying World Series, but they would make the playoffs. A nice consolation prize. But is that what needs to happen? Not really. You know where I've stood on this from the very beginning. And this is not an attack or me hating on them. This is me looking out for their future. I firmly believe the best course of action is to rebuild and move on. That's the best way to do this. Rebuild, move on, new core, bring them in. By 2025, you'll be great again. Nothing wrong with that. I've been saying that since 2019. But see, this year, performances are saying otherwise. For once, Kris Bryant's actually playing. Well, too. Role players whom we expect to do well have done their job. This is different than 2019 or 2020. Guys are performing. Trade deadline's coming up. And right now, I'm leaning towards don't sell. If they're going to keep playing like this, there's no point in selling. It'd be smart for their future, but it'd be unfair to the guys who performed so far. It's a really tough situation. I do not envy Jed Hoyer. Said that last week, I'll say it again. I'll say it moving forward. I do not envy Jed Hoyer. He knows what ownership wants, he knows what the players want, and he's the middleman. Not an easy job. I wouldn't want that on my shoulders. That's why I'm doing this. He has to listen to his gut on this. He has to watch what's going on, how these guys are performing. They deserve, based on numbers, purely numbers, to stay together. They didn't before, they do now. So if those change, if the results change, if they start losing, time to switch. If not, it's going to be a very tough decision. Kris Bryant's at the top of his game. Two ways to look at that. One, keep the team around, build around Bryant, MVP. Two, trade Bryant because he's at the top of his value and bring in a haul. Both have their merits and their issues. Both ideas, pros and cons. I'm still leaning towards trading Bryant. That's it. If he keeps up this pace and he somehow wins the MVP, the other option becomes more viable. See how this works? So we have some answers about the Cubs. Not all, but some. And it's just puzzling to see how this all plays out and how it's been playing out. It's so hard to explain, and I'm sure many of you Cubs fans could relate to this. I've seen comments saying, I want to root for Bryant, but I don't want to root for this team. I'm conflicted. I don't know what to do. Have to wait it out. Have to see how this team continues to react. June will tell a lot. It will. When you're facing every team but one above 500, that'll tell who this team is. Hey, if they're a contender, they better win out. Plain and simple. If they're a true contender, if they want this team to stay together and contend, win a division, move far in the playoffs, then they have to put up a winning record. They have to show to everybody, Jed Hoyer, me, you, that they are a force to be reckoned with. If they struggle, They have issues. If they finish so far under 500 in this month, and we all know, not a contending team, not a serious team, time to rebuild. June will tell a lot. We'll be all over it for coverage, of course, but June will tell everything. We will know by the end of the month who they are. Finally, that will determine the trade deadline, trade talks, and how they should approach the rest of the season and their future. Till then, though, we're left waiting, and we're left wondering. We saw this great win streak. What does that mean? Pitchers' ERAs are still high. They won 6 straight, then just lost to Cincinnati. Who are the Cubs? Who are they? We don't know. We know a little bit more, but not much more. Hey, they did great against the Pirates, but it's the Pirates. This will tell a lot. I know a lot of Cubs fans are on edge. They want to know what direction this team is going in. I have no clue. What I would say is just stay patient. See, you're getting your opportunity now. Finally. There really won't be any more guesswork after June. Going to face a lot of contenders. Going to see how you do. Hopefully get healthier. And then make a determination. So if you're still waiting and wondering and puzzled as to what's going on, I recommend you wait out June. I recommend you pay attention intently to this team. I'm excited. I don't know about you, but I'm excited. I like the team's attitude. Player-wise, I do. I like the rebellious nature. I like the fact that they know and they publicly acknowledged what the Ricketts and what Hoyer wants, and they've said, essentially, screw you. We're not doing it. I like it. The question is, though, can they act on it? Can they execute? That's the problem. Do they have the capacity? Do they have the sheer talent to execute? That's the question. I don't know if they do. And that's not blaming them for not having talent. It's the fact that their roster's not what it was 4 or 5 years ago. Do they have the talent today with this roster to defy Jed Hoyer and the Ricketts family? I don't know. Doesn't seem like it to me. And if they prove me wrong, I'll admit it. But right now, I'm still a bit skeptical. I want to see how this plays out. The next month will determine everything. And if you're a Cubs fan, you could be worried, but you should be excited. Because you'll finally know who your team is. No more guesswork. No more wondering, who's going to be traded? Will they be traded? Are they a contender? I don't know. No more of that. No more uncertainty. It becomes factual. It becomes real. And that's something you should really be hoping for. More to come here on Sports Talk Chicago. My interview with Casey Johnson comes up next, so stay tuned. And do you want to make some money this weekend? What if I told you I could offer you $250 free to bet on any game you want? Here's what you have to do. Go to sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. Must be 21 plus, must be an Illinois resident. You can bet $250 free on any game you want for this upcoming weekend. Cubs and White Sox are back. Bears prop bets going strong, plus the NBA Finals and the NHL playoffs. This is, without question, the best time to put down some money and win a whole lot more back. At sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. You have a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.